Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Please go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. We've just crossed over a little bit of a milestone with Patreon, which is really cool. Like I said, I'm going to be getting new lights and probably new microphones here in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for supporting that. And of course, Progressive Comedy Tour. Ron Placone and I are going to Texas, April 12th through the 15th. Get your tickets at grahamelwood.com. And April 18th, I'm doing Political Vigilante live at the Sycamore Tavern, where that video of Jimmy Dore and I making fun of that heckler, it's at that same venue. And I'll be announcing who my guest will be on that show. So get your tickets at grahamelwood.com. I'm here with, from Citizens Media TV, Jeff Epstein. Jeff, how you doing today?
Hello, Graham. Thanks for having me on. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. For those of you new to the show, Jeff was the first person to ever talk to me about modern monetary theory, and we did several videos, and he's turned me on to several other people. And for those of you new to the channel, I have an MMT playlist that goes through all those interviews. If you want to know more about MMT, I suggest watching that. So first, we wanted to talk about Beto O'Rourke, or Francis Patrick O'Rourke.
Yeah, I saw your platitude video. It was good.
Yeah, so I know he's on a platitude centrism tour throughout America right now. I know he's in favor of good things over bad things, which is really...
Platitude comedy tour.
Yeah, it's a platitude comedy tour. So what are your thoughts here on Francis?
Well, actually, the first time we spoke, I'm pretty sure it was the day after AOC beat Crowley.
Right. Yes, that's right.
I'm pretty sure. And she made MMT explode. Mm-hmm. There are hit pieces on MMT all over the place because of her, which is really because of Bernie. Right. But Beto raised 6.1 instead of just over Bernie's 5.9, and it's like it's a big surprise, but there's no surprise who it came from. I mean, I actually have a guess. My guess is, out of the total money, my guess is that 75% of that money is all maxed out donations.
Oh, it has to.
And Bernie had around 20 maxed out donations in his first day. I remember. And I know there's also 1 million or something like 1 million recurring donations, which I'm one of them, $27 a month. Yeah, so it's really interesting. It seems like that seems like a signal that they've chosen him over Kamala.
Which is interesting, because she was really they were grooming her a couple months ago. I mean, they were basically saying she was running. She's the first woman of color to run for president. They didn't even mention Tulsi Gabbard or any of the other women who had ran in years past, which was just not shocking, actually, the way they just anoint. But I think, I don't know why they're, well, I do know why. I mean, if you look at all of the corporate Democrats that are running, they're all running against Bernie, and they're all in states that Bernie could easily take. So they have to. Beto's from Texas, Kamala's New York, Liz Warren is Massachusetts, Kristen Gillibrand is Minnesota. These are all key states that Bernie could easily hands down win, so they have to have opposition to him in those states to prevent him from getting in there, because Wall Street, as we know, doesn't want him. So,
Well, Kamala's so slick. I guess it's just her flaws are pretty big flaws. But Beto's a mess. He's a mess. And I mean, Hillary was unpalatable, but she was a slick candidate. She had she was a well-oiled machine and had a huge machine behind her. But Beto obviously has the money behind him, but he's a mess. He's just a mess. His platitudes, your live commentary of his platitudes was really funny. And it's that's all that he does. He stands on tables and says platitudes.
I put this on Twitter. I said, if this was 20 or 30 years ago, he'd be running as a Republican and his last name would be Bush. I mean, he's just, he has gotten all this money from the oil lobby, and he's just saying these progressive buzzwords to try to get us to go, he's like, healthcare, everyone should have it. He's not saying Medicare for all. He's not saying specific thing. I want free healthcare or single payer or anything. No version of that. He's just saying everyone deserves healthcare. Oh wow, that's a bold.
Yeah, he's actually more aggressively pulling away from Medicare for all now, it seems. Yeah. And also, it was surprising to me. The one thing that was surprising to me was, well, actually, the one good thing is that he actually mentioned a paper that he's reading by an economist that I know, and he actually said the right things, like black debt is really horrible and white debt is not that horrible, and like he recognized that, and so it was like, crap, something good by him. But he actually said, what was it? He said, I forget. I lost track. But it's just so many platitudes. It's really irritating. It's just irritating.
Right. Yeah, that's what the corporate Democrats do. They're irritating. So
yeah.
I bet you if you put the number of donors to Bernie up against the number of donors, not dollar amounts, to Beto, Bernie would be probably 2 or 3 to 1. But, Beto's not doing speeches in front of 12,000 people. He's just on a picnic bench.
And they don't have to reveal those numbers for what, like 2 months or 2 weeks or something like that. So they're gonna get on as much as they can until then. But
yeah. So another thing you wanted to talk about. You emailed me and reached out. So let's get into why you wanted to come back on the show.
Sure. Actually, if I want to ask you, it's been 9 months since we spoke the first time. And I want to know, like, sort of where you're at with it. I don't mean knowledge. I just mean sort of your, like, what do you notice with the lies and the things that you watch and the people that you hang with and the stories that you do? Like, where do you encounter MMT or the related stuff or the lies? Like, where are you with that?
I think it's funny how the video I did with Fidel Kaboub, I got some emails saying, I can prove these guys wrong in a heartbeat, and they're afraid to debate me. I got some email from someone, I don't even know who it was. And
okay.
I was just like, well, I'm really confused by that reaction. Not with, it doesn't confuse me on MMT, but it confuses me, like, so what is the threat that you're saying? Like, what like, I guess it.
So what's your side?
Yeah.
What's your side? What is? Yeah, and it's like it's not the substance of your side. It's just screaming that they're wrong.
Yeah, and so that I've seen some of that, and I think too it's like, I understand. I believe Kyle Kulinski has just said, well, I don't want to get too into it because it's just too big of a pill for people to swallow. I understand that sentiment, where it comes from. I don't believe in that. I believe in just saying it, but I understand that some people are just like, like it's just too much, because we've all been told, the tax.
We've been zombified by neoliberalism.
Yeah, exactly. So, when people say, a big thing, and this is AOC has pushed this, which I appreciate, when somebody who was an Anderson Cooper asked her, well, how are we going to pay for Medicare for all? And she goes, well, nobody asks how we're going to pay for Space Force. Nobody asks how we're going to pay for the war machine. So I like that is being said more, and I'm trying to say that more. And I don't know if in there, bringing up MMT, I mean, I have brought it up in sometimes, and sometimes I haven't, because I'm just like, does that muddle the argument for all of the people that have been, as you say, zombified by neoliberalism, which is a great phrase. I don't know. Is it just like trying to introduce algebra to a first grader?
I mean, Kyle Kulinski seems to be slowly coming around, but I really so strongly disagree with, we need to cater to their misunderstandings,
right,
as opposed to wake them up. They need to be woken up. It's shocking, but it's the truth. And if you worry about the consequences of the truth, you have to do the truth, period. Whatever the consequences of the truth are, they are. That's it. Yeah, so just the whole concept of he's actually gone, I believe in MMT, but it's too big a pill to swallow, and this is how we would pay for it, with taxes and so on and so on and so on and so on, and listing all of these things off of how he would actually pay for it. And he is You can say MMT without saying MMT. Did you see the AOC video from a few days ago where she said scarcity mindset?
No.
Amazing video where she was getting heckled by someone in an audience, and she said, "This is what happens in a scarcity mindset. This is not the fight. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We're fighting over the scraps. This should be the fight. This is a scarcity mindset." And she didn't say the words MMT, but that's it. That's it. A manufactured scarcity where people fight over the scraps, right. And that causes her to be heckled and stuff. That's an example of a way to bring it up without actually saying the words MMT, which has whatever connotations that mainstream chooses to put on it. But yeah, so I mean, it seems to me that my impression is that you don't have much occasion in your stories that bring it up as much. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
That is a good point to bring it up the way AOC brought it up. I mean, she's so skilled at getting this progressive message across on any number of topics. One of the ways I've been bringing it up is when people say well, if Bernie gets elected, it still won't change Congress and blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, but his cabinet. And I always mention
his appointments.
Appointments. And I always mention Stephanie Kelton. I go, she was his financial advisor, and she is very well versed on MMT, and she will help turn everybody's tide on that. And then
get rid of DeVos and all those horrible, horrible people, and actually help people. My prediction is that his appointments would change the world, even if he doesn't pass a single law. And then in 2 years' time, that would be the ball starting to roll. And then in 2 years' time, people would start to be elected in. People would be excited by that. That's my prediction.
Well, yeah, I mean, look what he's done without passing any laws, just by getting Disney and Amazon to increase their wages to $15 an hour, which is not that much money. $15 is not a lot, but he just did that just by going out and banging the drum. I mean,
without any power,
was not passed. It wasn't passed. But he got Amazon to go, okay. Mainly because they're afraid of unions, so they'd rather go $15 an hour than pay union wages. But it's a step in the right direction, and it shows you that if he's president, as you said, with the cabinet appointments, they will be all pushing this MMT thing. And I when I watched that movie Vice, right, which whether I don't think it was that great of a movie, but whatever, that's not the issue. But the way Cheney just said, oh, we'll just do this. We'll circumvent this law. We'll do this with the Constitution. Whatever the president does isn't illegal. If we had a progressive president that just said, no, Green New Deal, we're just doing it,
Yep. And jailing bankers, he would appoint an unbelievable head of the Justice Department. I have a feeling there's a significant chance it's going to be Bill Black, who jailed a lot of people during the savings and loan debacle. And if he gets in there, people would be arrested all over the place. It's going to be amazing. And Amazon, with their $15 an hour, now they're reducing hours. So they're paying him $15 an hour, but now you can't work as much. So it's like it is an incredible victory, and it's in his credit, Bernie's credit. But $15 an hour in an unjust society can only go so far.
Well, yeah, they'll show.
Same with Medicare for all.
Yeah. It's why. And look, I did a video on. There were 130 Democrats in Congress that still haven't gone on for a Medicare for all thing, and they've gotten $45 million from the healthcare lobby. I mean, that's just where we're at. But so that's where I'm at in terms of MMT, okay. and to hear how AOC says it without saying it is a really good tactic that I will start using.
Yeah, and actually, one last thing before we get into it, which is watching you on with Fidel, and I don't know if this is what you felt or not, but it seemed to me that was where it changed for you from interesting to shit. I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it somehow internalized.
Well, and I would repeat this. I repeated it in my videos that pertain to it for weeks when he talked about how FDR did the New Deal before the war bonds, before the war started. He just said, we're just doing this. And that the bonds were used after the war started to kind of pull money out of the economy. That's when I went, oh, okay.
I didn't even realize that. We didn't just pay for the war after the Depression when people had no money. We actually paid for the New Deal as well. I didn't even think connect those two things together.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. FDR, the New Deal started before Pearl Harbor. So
yep.
It was like it was already in place. And so that's what we did. And that's how we did it. Because how could you get it in a tax base when you had whatever it was, 30 million people not working?
Yep. It's amazing. And he's taught me a number of things. He's taught me, and him in particular, I've watched some videos of his, and he says, like, just one last example, which is, he said, so we don't want to go to war because it's too expensive. He's like, so we go to war if it's cheap? No. We don't go to war because it's immoral. We build a wall if it's cheap? No. We don't build a wall because it's immoral.
Right.
Stop talking about price. Start talking about morality and efficiency and that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's a very impressive guy.
Yep. That video was pretty transformational for me.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.